The betrayal is finally complete. The United States just lost its most loyal financial shield in Europe. And nobody on the evening news is brave enough to tell you what it actually means. The National Bank of Poland just bought 150 tons of physical gold. Do not let that number slide past your ears. 150 tons. They did not buy stocks. They did not buy bonds. They did not buy dollars. They bought the heavy yellow metal that your financial advisor told you was a barbarous relic. And here is the terrifying part that should make the hair on your arms stand up. They bought it at the all-time high. They bought it with the price sitting at $4,700 per ounce. Think about what that means for your wallet. When you go to the grocery store, do you load up your cart with steaks when the price doubles? No. You wait for a sale. You wait for the price to drop. But the Central Bank of Poland is not waiting. They are panic buying at the top of the market. Why would a sophisticated central bank, run by the smartest economists in Eastern Europe, pay the highest price in history for gold? Because they know something that you do not. They know that $4,700 is not expensive. They know that $4,700 is cheap, because the currency they are using to pay for it is about to become worthless. They are not buying gold to make a profit. They are buying gold to survive the fire that has already started in the basement of the Western financial system. This is what we call the Polish put. It is the ultimate vote of no confidence in the United States dollar and the debt that backs it for decades. The deal was simple. The United States protects Europe with guns and tanks. And in exchange, Europe buys American debt. They buy our Treasury bonds. They hold our dollars in their vaults. It was a protection racket, and it worked for 80 years. But today, on January 20th, 2026, that racket officially broke. Poland looked at the United States, looked at the 30-year Treasury bond yielding nearly 5%, looked at the chaos in the Red Sea with CMA CGM ships turning around, and they said no more. They took their chips off the table. They dumped the paper promises of a bankrupt empire and traded them for the only money that cannot be printed, cannot be hacked, and cannot be sanctioned. You need to understand the mechanics of this collapse because your retirement account is sitting right in the blast zone. When a central bank buys gold, they are selling someone else's debt, usually. That debt is American debt. Poland is dumping US treasuries to buy this metal. They are fleeing the dollar before the gates close. Why now? Look at the headlines we tracked this morning. President Trump is threatening a 10% tariff on 8 European countries because of the Greenland dispute. He is weaponizing the dollar against his own allies. The bond market is reacting violently. The 30-year Treasury yield is spiking because investors are terrified of the inflation these tariffs will cause. And when inflation spikes, the value of the bond crashes. The Polish central bankers see this. They see the smoke. They are grabbing the fire extinguishers. Meanwhile, you are still sitting in the burning living room watching television, thinking everything is fine because the stock market has not crashed yet. The stock market is a lie. The bond market is the truth. And the bond market is screaming that the United States is insolvent. But this story gets darker. This is not just about Poland. This is about the signal it sends to every other nation on earth. Poland is a NATO ally. They are supposed to be on our side. If your best friend starts wearing a bulletproof vest when he comes to your house, something is very wrong. If an ally is dumping your currency to hoard gold, it means they expect a war. Not just a trade war, but a total systemic reset. They are hardening their balance sheet. They are preparing for a world where the dollar is not the reserve currency. They are preparing for a world where you cannot buy oil or food with green pieces of paper anymore. Let's look at the math of desperation. 150 tons of gold. That is millions of ounces. This is not a speculative trade. This is a defensive wall. They are building a fortress, and they are doing it while the price is screaming higher. This destroys the single biggest lie that Wall Street has fed you for 10 years. They told you that when interest rates go up, gold goes down. That is what the textbooks say. That is what the professors at Harvard teach. Well, look at the board today. Interest rates are skyrocketing. The 30-year yield is hitting 5%. And gold is hitting $4,700. The correlation is broken. The textbooks are wrong. Why? Because this is not a normal market cycle. This is a credit collapse. When the market fears that the government will default on its debt, either by not paying or by printing so much money that the payment is worthless, gold and interest rates rise together. It is the death spiral of a currency. We saw it in the 1970s. We are seeing it now, but on a scale that makes the 70s look like a picnic. And while Poland buys gold, what are you holding? You are holding cash that is losing purchasing power by the second. You are holding bonds that are crashing in value. You are holding stocks that are propped up by the very same liquidity that is evaporating. The insiders are exiting. They are leaving you holding the bag. The Polish central bank is the insider. They see the internal reports. They see the supply chain rot. They see the shipping containers stuck in Africa because the Suez Canal is a kill zone. They see the mines in Mexico shutting down. They know that the cost of everything is about to double. So they are front-running you. They are buying the insurance policy before the hurricane hits land. You are the one who will be stuck trying to buy plywood when the wind is already tearing the roof off. Think about the sheer panic required to execute a buy order of 150 tons in a single window. You do not do that if you think the world is stable. You do not do that if you think inflation is transient. You do that when you think the system is about to lock up. This aligns perfectly with the other signals we picked up today. The shipping lines are abandoning the Red Sea. The silver mines are freezing operations. The internet in Iran is dead. The pieces are moving on the chessboard. Poland just moved their king into the bunker. They know that the next phase of this economic war involves the weaponization of the financial system itself. If you hold dollars, you are vulnerable. If you hold gold, you are sovereign. Poland chose sovereignty. You are still choosing vulnerability every single day you stay in the system. The media will try to spin this. They will tell you it is just portfolio diversification. They will use soft words to put you back to sleep. They will say it is a prudent measure. Do not listen to their lullabies. This is a scream for help. This is a siren. When the central banks start competing with each other to secure physical assets, the window for the little guy to get in is closing. Right now, you can still walk into a coin shop or go online and trade your dying dollars for silver and gold. It might cost you a high premium, but you can still do it. But soon, maybe in a week, maybe in a month, that window will slam shut. When the panic truly spreads from the central banks to the commercial banks, and then to the public, there will be no metal left. It will be unobtainium. Recall what happened in 1980. The Brothers Hunt tried to corner the silver market, but this time, it is not two brothers from Texas. It is sovereign nations. It is China. It is Russia. And now, it is our own allies like Poland. They are the whales. You are the plankton. When the whales feed, the water gets turbulent. You are about to get swallowed whole if you do not swim out of the paper ocean and find solid ground. The Polish put is essentially a bet that the US dollar is going to zero, or at least that its dominance is ending. They are betting against the American empire. And judging by the size of their bet, they are absolutely certain they are going to win. Do you realize how insulting this is to the Federal Reserve? The Fed is trying to tell the world that they have inflation under control. They are trying to project strength. And here comes Poland, a country that relies on the US for defense, publicly dumping the dollar to buy the anti-dollar. It is a slap in the face. It is a public humiliation of the US Treasury, and the market knows it. That is why the yields are rising. The bond vigilantes are back, and they are speaking Polish. They are demanding a higher return to hold US debt because the risk of holding that debt has gone vertical. The risk is not just inflation anymore. The risk is total debasement. Let me break down the psychology of the bond vigilante. These are the investors who control the debt markets. For years, they were asleep, drugged by the Fed's quantitative easing. But the drugs have worn off. They woke up this morning, saw Trump threatening tariffs on Europe, saw the supply chains snapping in the Red Sea, and saw Poland buying gold. They realized that the US government has no plan to fix the debt. There is no plan to cut spending. There is no plan to balance the budget. The only plan is to print more money to pay the interest on the old money. It is a Ponzi scheme. And like all Ponzi schemes, it works great until the new money stops coming in. Poland just stopped coming in. They stopped rolling over their debt and started buying metal. The Ponzi is wobbling. This is the great disconnect we have been warning you about. The price of gold on your screen is one thing, but the flow of gold is the real story. The gold is moving from west to east, and now from paper to vaults. The COMEX and the LBMA in London are being drained. We are seeing a run on the bank, but the bank is the gold exchange. When Poland takes delivery of 150 tons, that metal has to come from somewhere. It comes out of the available float. It leaves the vault. It goes onto a truck, then a plane, and it lands in Warsaw. It is gone. It is off the market. It cannot be rehypothecated. It cannot be leased out. It is real, and it is removed. Every ton that leaves makes the remaining market tighter. It makes the remaining shorts more nervous. The banks that are short gold, the bullion banks that bet against the price rising, are sweating blood right now. They thought they could suppress the price forever with paper contracts. But they cannot suppress a physical buyer who demands delivery. You cannot print gold. You cannot digitally create a gold bar and ship it to Warsaw. You have to find the metal. And with mines in Mexico closing and supply chains breaking, finding the metal is becoming the hardest job on Wall Street. This is the squeeze. It is slow, grinding, and inevitable. Poland is just the latest tightening of the screw. You might be asking, what can I do? I don't have billions of dollars like Poland. You don't need billions. You just need to be on the same side of the trade as the insiders. If the central banks are selling dollars to buy gold, you should be selling dollars to buy gold. It is that simple. Do not overthink it. Do not look at the RSI or the MACD charts. Look at the actions of the survivalists running these nations. They are preparing for a winter that will last a decade. They are preparing for a breakdown of the global order. You need to prepare for the breakdown of your household budget. When the price of bread doubles, and it will, your savings in the bank will not help you if they are denominated in the currency that is causing the inflation. You need assets that float. Gold floats. Silver floats. Real things float. Paper sinks. The dollar is paper. The bond is paper. Your insurance policy is paper. Poland knows this. They are building a raft made of gold bars. You are treading water, holding a rock. Drop the rock. Build the raft. This event today, this purchase of 150 tons, is a kinetic event. It is a physical removal of wealth from the fake system to the real system. It creates a vacuum. And nature abhors a vacuum. Prices will rush in to fill that void. We are looking at a future where gold is not measured in dollars, but dollars are measured in milligrams of gold. The shift is psychological first, then mathematical. Poland just crossed the psychological Rubicon. They admitted, with their wallet, that they do not trust the United States to manage the world's money anymore. If the US government cannot stop a mid-sized ally from dumping its currency, how can it stop China? How can it stop the BRICS nations? It cannot. The dam has cracked. The water is pouring through. The purchase by Poland is just the first major breach of the year 2026. There will be others. Brazil is watching. India is watching. They smell blood in the water. They see that the US Treasury market is weak. They see the yields spiking. They know that if they wait, they will be the last ones holding the worthless dollars. So they will rush for the exit too. This creates a stampede. And in a stampede, the only thing that matters is getting through the door first. Poland just got through the door. You are standing at the back of the theater. You smell the smoke. You see, the rich people in the VIP box, the central bankers sneaking out the side exit with their pockets full of gold. The announcer on the stage, the Federal Reserve Chairman, is telling you to stay in your seat, that everything is under control, that the fire is transitory. Do you stay in your seat? Do you trust the man with the microphone? Or do you trust your eyes? Do you trust the fact that the people with the most information are leaving the building? The time for debate is over. The time for accumulation is now. Every ounce of silver you buy, every gram of gold you secure, is a vote against their system and a vote for your survival. It is a declaration of independence. Poland declared independence today. They declared that their national security depends on gold, not dollars. Your personal security depends on the same thing. The system is rigged to destroy your purchasing power to pay off their debts. That is the game. The only winning move is to stop playing their game and start playing the game of kings. Gold is the game of kings. It has been for 5,000 years. It is the only currency that has never gone to zero. The dollar has lost 98% of its value since the Federal Reserve was created. It has 2% left to go. That last 2% is where you lose everything. Poland is not waiting for the last 2%. Why are you? They will call you crazy. They will call you a gold bug. They will laugh at you for buying metal when the stock market is doing well. Let them laugh. They laughed at Noah when he was building the ark. They laughed until it started to rain. Well, look around. Look at the Red Sea. Look at the yield curve. Look at the price of food. Look at the National Bank of Poland. It is raining. It is pouring. The flood is here. This is not a drill. This is a financial evacuation. The sirens are blaring in Warsaw. Can you hear them in New York? Can you hear them in your living room? Or is the volume on your television turned up too high? Turn off the noise. Look at the signal. The signal is gold. The signal is 150 tons. The signal is it's gone. The trust is gone. The stability is gone. The era of the dollar is gone. You have a choice today. You can be a victim of the greatest wealth transfer in history, where your labor is stolen through inflation and your savings are vaporized by default. Or you can be a victor who saw the signs, who read the writing on the wall, and who positioned themselves before the collapse. The choice is binary. There is no middle ground. You are either holding the asset or you are holding the liability. Gold is the asset. The dollar is the liability. Poland made their choice. They chose survival. Now it is your turn. Do not let tomorrow morning come without a plan. Do not let another paycheck sit in a dying currency without converting a portion of it into real wealth. The clock is ticking. The bond market is cracking. The ships are turning around. The world is changing. Change with it, or be crushed by it. The system is not coming back to save you. You have to save yourself. Comment "I'm ready" below if you are awake. Comment "I am ready" if you refuse to be the victim. Smash that like button to trigger the algorithm and warn others. We need to wake up the village before the fire spreads to every roof. This is the only channel that tells you the truth about the money. Stay sharp, stay prepared, and get your metal before it is unobtainium.